going off the scale of body shot, you're a liar and all this for no reason. And what happened now?
Class and fair play to him. And if he hangs his gloves up now and retires, he will retire as maybe one of the...
Time to pack it in. Daniel, brutal truth bombs from Chisora, Nelson, and more. Listen, Daniel, be honest with yourself. You got knocked out, and now you're acting like you're still a player in the game. Come on, man. You're not built for this. The bombs are still moving, and you're crumbling like a biscuit. It's time to pack it in. Retire before someone really hurts you. Derek Chisora didn't sugarcoat anything. He told Daniel Dubois exactly what most people are thinking. It's over. After folding against Oleksandr Usyk, Chisora sees no reason for Dubois to continue. No chin, no fire, no fight left. For Chisora, Dubois quitting in that ring is unforgivable. And in this sport, quitting is a cardinal sin. But Chisora wasn't done. In a follow-up clip,
Yeah, man, they quit. I don't understand. You know, they were supposed to train him different. They did not. I mean, like, it's big time. It was set for him to win it. You know, it was set for him to win it. You know, when I went to graduate, to say how you feel. You know, Don Child goes to me, oh, go suck your best friend's dick.
Doubled down, even angrier. This time he didn't just question Dubois' heart, he shredded it. Chisora didn't see a warrior in that ring. He saw a man looking for a way out from the opening bell. According to him, Daniel never bit down, never gritted through the adversity, never even tried. The first two shots Usyk landed right on the chin, and that was it. Chisora said,
in the fight, hit Daniel on the chin. And then that's when Daniel just quit. He could not gather himself. He didn't throw the double jab. He didn't go. He didn't actually say no one.
He didn't step into it.
He didn't bite his gumshoe and say, no, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
When you say the first two shots in the fight, they went to the chin, then he quit, what do you mean by that?
I mean, like, he just folded, he just quit. He quit, I mean, like, in a way, not quit like walking out the ring. Quit off like, you know what, I'm just going to...
He folded. He didn't gather himself, didn't throw the jab, didn't step forward. He didn't bite down on the gum shield and say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. He just quit. Meanwhile, Frank Warren tried to wrap Dubois' collapse in sentiment, praising his past fights and contributions.
That's the decision he's made, and we've had, I mean, what he's given to British boxing has been amazing.
Johnny? But deep down, even Frank's tribute felt like a goodbye. A soft landing for a hard fall. The tone was less about support, more like a farewell speech. And let's be real, nostalgia won't erase what happened against Usyk. Then came Johnny Nelson, who tore through the illusion. For him, Usyk didn't just beat Dubois, he dismantled him.
What he did to Daniel, it took away everything, all his attributes. He took away his jab, took away his power, took away his movement, took away his confidence, to the point where Daniel was putting his backside on the floor thinking, wow, you know, we're only in round 5 here and I'm getting chopped up.
Every weapon Dubois brought into the ring got stripped away. The jab disappeared. The power was neutralized. By round 5, Daniel wasn't just losing, he was broken. Sitting on his stool, vacant-eyed and mentally drained. That wasn't just defeat. That was a masterclass in domination. And Daniel had no answers. Duke McKenzie didn't hold back either. According to him, Dubois looked mentally finished from the opening bell. Sluggish, flat-footed, overwhelmed. McKenzie pointed to what many didn't want to admit. There was no snap in his punches, no aggression, no intent. The jab that once gave him success against top fighters, gone. Instead of rising to the occasion, Dubois withered under pressure. Usyk didn't need rounds to figure him out. He took control instantly. McKenzie made it plain Dubois wasn't just physically beaten. He was emotionally and mentally spent before the real war even began. And that points to something far deeper. Lack of hunger, confidence, and belief. For a heavyweight, that's
to me, in the first round, looked really tired. I don't know if it was the occasion that got to him. Obviously, Usyk got to him, but his punches had no snap on them. When Dubois fought Anthony Joshua, in the first round, he sat out his stall and he went to work straight away. Steady jab, stiff jab, big jab. He jabbed Joshua to death in the first 30 seconds. But in this fight against Usyk,
unforgivable. Joe Gallagher dissected the fight with clinical precision, and what he described was a disaster. Dubois didn't just get caught, he walked straight into it like an amateur. At one point, he had Usyk backed into the ropes, but with no awareness, no guard, no footwork. A check hook caught him high on the head. Then a brutal left around his lazy right hand sealed his fate. Gallagher may have called it unfortunate, but let's call it what it was: embarrassing. A top-tier heavyweight walking into traps like a rookie. No urgency, no adjustments, no plan B. Just a man being systematically broken in front of millions. That wasn't a bad night. That was exposure. From Chisora's ruthless honesty to Nelson's brutal breakdown, from Mackenzie's mental read to Gallagher's tactical analysis, the message is unified and clear. Daniel Dubois wasn't ready. Not for Usyk. Not for this level. Not anymore. And if you ask any of them what's next, the answer isn't another comeback. It's retirement. The collapse of Daniel Dubois,
And I think Daniel forced him into the ropes and he just walked onto a check hook high up on the head, and then obviously in the two phases of attack, Usyk did in them with the left hook around the side of the right hand, and he executed it very well.
Brutality, honesty, and the rise of Usyk. It wasn't just a knockdown. It was the crumbling of everything Daniel Dubois was supposed to be. And the worst part, it was avoidable. If he had the instincts of a real warrior, things might have played out differently. Joe Gallagher didn't pull punches. This time, though, his focus shifted from Dubois' downfall to the greatness of Oleksandr Usyk, and the contrast couldn't have been more devastating. Usyk, unlike Dubois, has already reached the mountaintop. A world champion, an undisputed technician, a master in every sense. Gallagher framed it perfectly. Usyks' legacy is now about fending off the next generation, fighters hoping to test themselves against a proven master. And that's the painful difference. Usyk is still hungry, still evolving, still dominating. Dubois, he's being spoken about in the past tense. His story is filled with questions and doubts. Usyk's is etched in gold. The pressure is no longer on Usyk to prove he belongs. It's on every other heavyweight to prove they belong in his ring. One man's legend can pride.
I don't think there's nothing more for him to prove. What is he's in a situation like all good fighters when they start coming to the end of the career. You've got the next gen coming through. You've got your upperties that want to move up and fight him.
Continues to grow while the other's promise is in freefall. Gallagher didn't just highlight that gap, he exposed it, loud and clear. Then came Dave Allen, and he didn't just comment. He torched what was left of Dubois' pride. Allen called it exactly how he saw it. Dubois quit, and he didn't just say it, he mocked it. He stayed down until 10, then casually walked to the corner like it was a sparring session. Allen said, "No pain, no wobble, just surrender." To Allen, that wasn't heart, it was cowardice. The jab was gone, the power never showed up, and the will, non-existent. Allen dubbed himself chairman of the Quit Committee and stamped that label right onto Dubois' name. This wasn't a jab, it was career-defining humiliation. Not because Dubois got hurt, but because in Allen's eyes he didn't want it. And in heavyweight boxing, choosing to stay down is the deadliest decision a fighter can make. Then came the voice of a legend, Lennox Lewis. Reacting to Usyk's performance, Lewis made the difference in class even more brutal. He got up at 10, walked straight to the corner totally...
And he walked straight past Usyk, straight to the corner. It was completely fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say I've quit. It's not horrific to say I'm quit. I'm chairman of the Quit Committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway, he quit, yeah.
Fine, Lewis noted, disbelief clear in his tone. Yeah, he quit, but what stood out most was how Lewis spoke about Usyk with awe. Footwork, timing, control. The jab, the spacing, the counters, it was all surgical. A complete clinical dismantling. This was chess, not checkers. Usyk wasn't just beating Dubois physically. He was outthinking, outmaneuvering, outclassing him. While Dubois sunk in quicksand, Usyk was a master at work, creating openings, controlling the pace, and taking zero unnecessary risks. Lewis saw it for what it was: a performance that defines a champion and exposes a pretender. The gap between elite and exposed had never looked wider. Lennox made that perfectly clear. And then came silence. Not from a fan or a commentator, but from Don Charles, a veteran who's seen it all. When the fight ended, Charles didn't say much. And that said everything. A man who spent decades in boxing.
He was unbelievable. He was on form today. He boxed great. He did the right things. He was counter-punching, and he was moving well, and he wasn't getting caught. And he started off with a jab, so...
Speechless after a heavyweight bout. That silence hit harder than any punch. It wasn't disappointment, it was disbelief. Dubois didn't just lose a fight. He lost belief, trust, credibility. Analysts didn't just see failure, they saw surrender. And that's not something boxing forgets easily. In the end, it wasn't about physical damage. It was mental, emotional, spiritual. Dubois didn't just get beaten, he got revealed. And when that happens in heavyweight boxing, there's no hiding. Daniel Dubois, exposed, outclassed, and left behind. This wasn't just a knockdown. This was the collapse of everything Daniel Dubois was supposed to stand for. And what made it worse? It was avoidable. If he had the instincts, grit, and survival code of a true warrior, things might have gone differently. Joe Gallagher didn't hold back. But this time his words weren't just about Dubois' failure. They were about the sheer brilliance of Oleksandr Usyk. The contrast between the two couldn't have been more glaring. Usyk has reached the peak.
I'm speechless. I usually got a lot to say. I'm speechless. The fight ended in round 4, and we got.
He's not chasing legacy anymore, he is the legacy. A world champion, an undisputed tactician, a generational talent. Gallagher framed it perfectly. Usyk's mission now is holding off the new wave of heavyweights daring enough to step into the ring with him. That's the difference. Usyk is still climbing, still evolving, still dominant. Dubois, he's become a question mark. His name is being discussed in the past tense. While Usyk's career shines brighter with every performance, Dubois' stock is plummeting. The pressure's not on Usyk anymore, it's on every other heavyweight to prove they even belong in the same arena. Gallagher didn't just point out the difference, he exposed the chasm. A chasm Dubois fell straight into. Then came Dave Allen, and he lit the match on what was left of Dubois' pride. Allen didn't just comment, he ridiculed. He called Dubois, what so many were already thinking, a quitter, and he didn't hold back. He stayed down until 10, then walked off like it was a sparring session. Allen said, no limp, no wobble, just gave up. That's not courage, Allen argued. That's surrender. Dubois' jab had vanished.
And the man is supremely talented, but time and season is everything in the sport.
Power never arrived, and any will to fight, long gone. Allen didn't stop there. He jokingly appointed himself chairman of the Quick Committee and made Dubois the latest member. It wasn't just criticism. It was a public gutting of a fellow fighter, not because Dubois got knocked out, but because, as Allen sees it, he made the choice to stay down. And in boxing, that's the most unforgivable decision of all. Then the voice of a legend weighed in. Lennox Lewis didn't mince words. Watching Usyk, he saw something special. Watching Dubois, he saw resignation. He got up at 10 and walked straight to the corner, like nothing happened. Lennox said, yeah, he quit. But what stood out most wasn't his...
Now for him to come back and, can be a 2-time champion.
Well, that's up to him. We'll have a chat and see what he wants to do.
Disappointment in Dubois, it was his admiration for Usyk. Footwork, timing, precision, control. Usyk delivered a clinic. Every movement was calculated. Every punch had purpose. Lewis called it what it was, chess not checkers. Usyk didn't just defeat Dubois, he dismantled him mentally, tactically, and emotionally. While Dubois looked lost in quicksand, Usyk moved like a surgeon. Efficient, clean, dangerous. Lennox saw the blueprint of greatness in real time, and saw a young heavyweight completely unravel under the spotlight. Then came the most telling reaction of all, silence. Don Charles, a man who's seen every kind of fighter and every kind of finish, said almost nothing after the bout. A man of his experience, rendered speechless. That says it all. It wasn't just disappointment in Dubois, it was disbelief. Dubois didn't just lose, he folded. He lost belief, lost the trust of the boxing world. And worst of all, he lost credibility with himself. Because this wasn't about damage. It wasn't about being overpowered. It was about being overwhelmed and unprepared, and choosing not to fight back. And when that happens in heavyweight boxing, there's no excuse, and no hiding place. He wasn't just beaten. He was exposed absolutely. He didn't even defend his own son, and Dave Allen. He crowned Daniel Dubois the face of quitting. When veterans, insiders, and even family members turn their backs, redemption starts to feel impossible. Now the question hangs heavy. What's left for Dubois? Can he